Hello, welcome to the first Alex AFF Action for Autism podcast. This podcast is made possible by the Alex Fershtman Foundation. Our mission is to provide education on how to work with and support people on the autism spectrum. The way I first met you was Alex was really struggling, and it was bad, and I couldn't find anyone to help. I called my sister. I'm like, this is not okay. I need to start a foundation. There's no help. People aren't trained. They're telling me they're not trained. So I reached out for help from the county, and they were going to send me a behavioralist. And at the last minute, they called me and they said, the person we were going to send you went on leave, but we are going to send you Dr. Liesen. She was in charge of all our behaviorists, but she went on her own, and she's doing consulting with us, and she's starting a private practice, and so we're going to send her to you. And I'm like, okay. So you walked into my house. We went to see Alex, and you connected with him like I've never seen before. He just, right away, he liked you. He knew you liked him. It was amazing. And so I walked you out after, and I said to you, so when you start your private practice, you said, I'm working through things. And I told you, I said, what are you doing now? And you said, I'm teaching people how to work with people with autism. And I said, oh, that's so interesting, because I am in the process of setting up a foundation for that purpose. And I may call you. We're just starting, but I may call you. And you said, okay. And then 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, I run into you, and I said, we have our 501c3. We're ready. Will you do it? And you said yes. So, yeah, it was, people, when I tell that story, they said that was serendipity. Right. There are no accidents. So, yeah.
There's no accidents, but I also appreciate just how much you trusted me coming into your private space. That's, it's such a vulnerable experience. I know that I am professional number 355 in your son's life and in your life. And so for you to just trust me coming into your private space and building that bond with Alex, I really, that's a big thing. I don't think a lot of people really appreciate that. When I'm coming into your space, it's very intrusive. You don't know who I am from Adam. But you're right. I did feel that immediate connection with Alex. I knew, even though that in that moment he was struggling, oh my goodness, he was struggling and couldn't communicate what he was experiencing to anybody using his words. And I knew that I had to pace myself. I could feel the apprehension, but I also felt the need to get in there and connect. And so we did. We connected, and he let me. So
yeah, Alex always could tell. I would always say he reacts to people the way they react to him. And it was extremely rare, if ever, that anyone connected with him like that, and just right away.
And what you just said is really important. You're right. He is going to react the way people react to him. We call it emotional empathy. It's like contagious emotions, right? If I'm feeling nervous and anxious, then I'm going to make him feel nervous and anxious. And I'm going to be really honest with you. I probably never told you this. I kind of did feel nervous and anxious the first time I met him. I don't know what I'm walking into either.
Right.
So, but you know what? It was meant to be. We connected immediately. He did not push me away when I was giving him deep pressure on his hands. And, I don't know I'm not sure I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but it saddened my heart that the only way that he could keep himself safe would be to have his arms restrained. So my first mission immediately was, I'm going to connect with this guy. I'm going to make him feel safe with me. And more importantly, I'm going to make him feel safe with him, that he can trust not hurting himself with his hands. And yeah, he let me in there, and I was a little bit impressed that he let me in there. So yeah.
Yeah, it was quite, like I said, usually it takes people a while, but yeah, it was quite amazing.
Yeah. One of the things that, in all my years of education and the research that I've done, one thing that I'm very mindful of is I've learned more from the people that I support than I could ever teach them. I mean, it's it's almost synergistic. I the more I connect with an individual with autism, the more opportunity I have to learn from their world. And the more I learn from their world, the more I can get in there and help them and meet them where they're at. And plus, it's just very cool to see the world through someone else's lens when you can, right? Yeah.
Right. Especially, yeah. And I love that you got to know him a little when he got, he was doing a lot better. And, you saw the happy, fun Alex.
Yeah, I saw the happy fun Alex, but I still saw the happy fun Alex when he was struggling. I never knew the Alex when Alex was making Monkey Bear. I never knew the Monkey Bear side of Alex. Monkey Bear is this beautiful painting that Alex, how old was he when he made that?
It was, I'm going to say, it was 2014. So I think it was 17.
Wow.
Was it 17? About 17. But he always loved to draw. He was in an autism school. They decided to do a gallery of paintings. They were selling it as a fundraiser for the school, so I bought his. I mean, that monkey bear is going nowhere but my house. But yeah, love it. My friends are always loved it. Yeah.
Well, it reminds me that, it takes time to be able to get to know someone to the point where you can learn about all their monkey bears. I've got an individual that I work with who is amazing at chess. I can't play chess. He's amazing at chess. But he's also pretty amazing at checkers. So we will play checkers just to reduce some of the social anxiety. It's kind of, you ever date somebody for the first time, you're sitting across from them, and you're like, I don't know what to talk about. I mean, I don't even know you. We don't have anything in common. This is really hard. Well, sometimes it feels like that for them in every situation they're in. So we'll play something just to kind of keep the rhythm going and reduce some of that stress. And so we'll play checkers. And I'm playing checkers with him, and he says, "You can't go there. You're blocked." And I'm like, "I'm not blocked. I mean, I've got all these places. What do you mean I'm blocked?" Well, sure enough, I move my checker, and 3 moves in, I'm blocked, but he could see that. I could not see that. I mean, playing checkers, playing chess, that's his monkey bear. And, I love it when I can get into that person's world and connect with them and learn all those amazing things about them that maybe people don't take time to learn or even acknowledge or even want to acknowledge. Just see somebody with a disorder. You don't see the beautiful, talented way that their brain works. It's not a broken brain, it's a different brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex's other talent was he loved doing it with people. If you told him the month, the day, no, the month and the date and year of your birthday, he would tell you what day of the week. And he was right 99.9% of the time.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it was. And he loved doing it because, I remember once we were at like a CVS, and I don't know, we were playing around and he was doing it, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, can you do mine?" And I'm telling you, people were lined up, and he was just smiling because, the feedback he got was, they're all like, "This is amazing,"
Right. I could see him setting up a booth at Cedar Point. You know how they got those, guess your weight,
Yeah.
or he could be guess your birthday,
Right.
or the day of the week that you were born on. I
Right.
could see him totally.
Right. And it was also funny. People would like go to him, "Alex, how do you do that?" And he'd look at him like, "How come you can't do that?" Like to
Right.
him, it was like, "What do you mean?" Right. But yeah, and then I had the friends that, really smart friends that were trying to figure it out, never could figure it out. But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Because we don't understand how something works, sometimes we don't appreciate it, or maybe we're even afraid of it, or we just don't connect with it, right? And that kind of brings me back to a model that I want to talk a little bit about. It's called the double empathy model, and this isn't just specific to people on the spectrum. This is anybody who lives a very different life from the person across from you. The more different you are, the harder it is to connect, the harder it is to relate to each other. And then that can lead to misinformation, breakdown in communication, and just that lack of connectivity. One of the things that I'm learning to appreciate is to not be afraid of that not knowingness. I mean, I don't know how he knew 3 moves ahead that he
Yeah.
blocked me. I don't know how he did it. My brain doesn't work that way. But rather than being afraid of it, I'm curious about it. I want to learn from it. I want to, grow from it. So, but then I think about their experience, a person on the spectrum in their world. And, not everybody is as curious about how people's minds work and how different their experiences as I am. And so they likely have to go through life trying to be like everybody else and just to connect. Right.
Yeah.
And that has got to be exhausting.
Yeah.
I would just, I teach practicum at a university, and my students, when they first start practicum, they're sitting across, they're very anxious because this is the first time they're going to sit across from a real client and try to help them. And they feel this burden of, I've got to do something to make their lives better. And so they experience what they call imposter syndrome. They've done all the work. They did the book work. They got great grades. But now they have to actually connect with a human being that they don't know. And there's so much ambiguity, what could happen. And so they don't feel confident. They're overthinking everything. They're trying to pay attention, and they've got this other narrative in their head. Am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? And you can only imagine just how laborious that would be, right? Just draining. If that imposter syndrome went on forever, they would probably switch fields.
Yeah.
When you have autism and you have to mask in order to connect with people socially, that kind of, I would assume, I don't know, but I would assume that it would feel like imposter syndrome. And to have that never go away, how tiring that would be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So I try very hard to see the world through the other person's and learn from it, grow from it. It makes me a better person.
Yeah. I know Alex, there's very few times he tried to, he was him, and he always watched how people reacted to him, like I said before. But I can specifically remember times, like when he was at school and he would go around asking everyone their birthday, and they would go, "Oh, that's great," and walk away. But this custodian at school, Alex asked him, he told him, and then Alex started walking away. He said, "Wait a minute, when's your birthday?" Alex and him were buddies.
Right.
The whole years he was there, because he was talking to Alex, like a person. Right, right. So, I mean, I could give you like a lot of examples from that. But yeah, I mean, I think people don't understand. Like they want to, or I know everyone's different, but Alex wanted to be treated just, like we do. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That word normal that you're avoiding saying.
Yeah.
They want to be treated like normal. I don't, first of all, I think normal is boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what typical or neurotypical is these days. I think people are just different, and we should be different. We're just a better community when we are curious about our differences and share our differences and celebrate our differences.